I wanted to talk a little bit about the usefulness of a therapist when it comes to a patient's own work in psychodynamic psychotherapy. But before I continue, hi, my name is Eric Hammer, registered psychotherapist. My purpose and passion is helping men who are struggling in their romantic relationship develop more authentic, connected relationships. So, getting back to this idea of the therapist being a useful individual within a patient's own work when it comes to therapy. And when I'm talking about this, I want to refer to a term called transference. And essentially, what this means is in therapeutic terms, transference refers to essentially our own projection onto another individual. So basically, transferring, let's say, our own feelings or experiences or emotions onto another individual. And in this case, it could be the therapist. And so, how this can be really important in terms of one's own work is essentially the patient might get a greater insight within him or herself simply by expressing, right, in their work with the therapist that, hey, you know what, I'm experiencing this sort of outcome with you, or something that you've said reminds me of something that's occurred from my past. Or for example, the patient might be upset or angry at the therapist due to a certain action, and then in really being able to explore what the therapist has done or what the patient has perceived the therapist to have done, it opens up this way of dialogue in really gaining a greater understanding for the patient of him or herself. So again, for example, if there's a situation that comes up in which maybe there was a comment made by the therapist and this provoked perhaps a sense of emotion or anger, a sense of this emotional anger within the patient, well, it can open up this dialogue around, I wonder where in my past this has taken place for me, or what you did maybe reminded me of a situation that brought up a sense of anger. So again, it's this whole concept of transferring onto the therapist some of our past experiences, feelings, and emotions. And now, again, it opens up this way of a dialogue between the patient and the therapist so that the patient can gain, again, a greater insight into him or herself and a greater awareness around this particular sensitivity based on the interaction with the therapist. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave a comment below, and please check with a therapist to make sure that this or any other information is appropriate for you. And if you're a man who is struggling in his romantic relationship and is looking to gain greater self-awareness and really is motivated to have the healthy, connected relationship that he desires, feel free to reach out. I have contact information below. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day. Take care.